Hey beauties, we are Alicia and Nicole from Positive Image. We are hairstylists, salon owners, and business coaches here to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of the beauty industry. We are sharing our secrets on creating a salon that thrives. So let's dive in.
Hey, Nicole.
Hey Alicia.
You know what I learned over the first COVID lockdown?
What's that?
The outrageous number of money that sits in my inventory.
It is crazy, isn't it?
I think on average it ranges around the 25,000 mark for color and retail.
I don't want to tell you about
You're like, I don't want to look at the reports and find out.
it. No.
Oh, it's a heartbreaking number.
It is a crazy number that I don't think our staff realizes. I don't
No.
think we realize when we're ordering,
No.
like, we'll just get 3 of these and 5 of
Mhm.
these. Like, it's just easy to throw those numbers out.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, like, just talking about not realizing. For taxes, you take a report of what your inventory is in stock every year, when it comes to your fiscal year end, so that you can update your bookkeeping, your inventory status, and adjust it for income tax, however need be. If you don't know, that is a great benefit. You should definitely be doing that for taxes. Uh, it can definitely help you. Anyways, and I looked at that number, and I've always known what that number is, but I don't think it dawned on me until we were closed and it was sitting there frozen. So yes, it's a big part of our business, color inventory and retail inventory.
That inspired me, having that number and sitting there, to
Mhm.
actually change my website from just a information and website to do online sales
Mhm.
so that we could move that stock.
I think most of us did that throughout COVID.
Yeah.
And I was also very fascinated long after we had finally opened again that there was people still considering getting online booking or like offering an online access to retail. So I guess that maybe that brings us to the first point is retail dead, or like has online shopping killed retail, or like is retail very much still alive in salons, and what does that look like?
I think it depends on what your culture is as a
Mhm.
salon owner or salon, whether retail is dead or not. I know that there was a company who does salon coaching that will not name names, but
Mhm.
their philosophy was death to the front desk, where
Mhm.
they believe that salons shouldn't have retail in the shop and it should be buy, direct
Like
purchasing?
affiliate links or something?
Affiliate links, exactly,
Mhm.
so that the client can buy through you, and then it would get shipped and delivered to the customer's house.
Are there actually that many brands that actually followed through with that? I feel like there wasn't that many. There was very few.
No, there was a lot of talk about it, but not many followed through. And I also personally see so many flaws in that philosophy. The
Yeah.
first one being is that you take away any impulse buy and you
Mhm.
take away any, chance of the client, like, having the senses experience of, like, the feel, smell, touch.
And also the personal recommendation,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know when someone walks in off the street and they're like, "Ah, help me." I'm immediately looking at their hair and then asking them very obvious to us questions about their hair, but things that they
Mhm.
never thought of. So that's the whole reason why it is a benefit to buy from a hairstylist in a salon, is that we're immediately aware, acutely aware of your very dry blonde hair that really badly needs a very specific product. Like things like that.
Mhm.
That you're not going to get the same from online shopping or from a quiz questionnaire. They're
Yeah.
helpful. I think things have gotten really helpful, but it's just not the same.
And you might not actually enjoy the scent of it. Like, I know when
Sure.
somebody's coming in off the street and we're recommending retail, I will actually go over to our back bar and grab the liters of, if it's say
Mhm.
shampoo, of the 2 or 3 shampoos that I'm kinda showing them the difference, especially if we're stuck between the 2, to give them a chance of like, "Okay, smell this one, feel this one. Smell this one, feel this one. Which one do you like more?" Because one of my personal techniques or go-tos is like, if you don't like the way it feels in your hands, you are not gonna like the way it feels in your hair. So I want them to
100%.
feel it. I want them to like, okay, is this too sticky for you? Do you like the silkiness? Do you think that this product is gonna be too heavy for your hair, too light for your hair? Gives you so much information. So as soon as you go to retail or online only and you don't have those products in for the client to have that experience, that person's walking out the door and there goes your sale.
Random, not that I rarely do this, but random side tip, and I don't know if you do this, but when they're in your chair, which you should have already started talking about retail then, um, one tip is to actually have them put the product in their hair so that
Mhm,
they can immediately feel how it feels versus you doing all of the steps.
mhm. I know that intellectually. I don't know if I've ever given a client a product to put through their hair, unless
Yeah,
it's a
I don't do it
oil.
often.
Yeah.
It's usually, like, because they've asked me how to do their hair, and so
Mhm.
I'm going step by step to be like, "This is what you do, and then you do this part, and then you do this part."
Well, when you're a time-based salon too, it's all of those small little moments that take
Mhm.
like, that's what goes from a 45-minute haircut to an hour haircut, and now this client's potentially buying product, and do you really wanna charge her for an hour because you're having this consultation? So I think yeah, anyways, that is the stuff that
Yes,
runs through my brain on a daily basis.
the fears.
The fears
Yeah,
and whatnot.
100%, 100%. That's part of it, right? Okay, so I would say both of us agree that retail is not dead.
No.
Yes, it is being sold online by more and more brands. And so that's an interesting conversation in itself. But I think for you and I, we both still have pretty good internal retail sales. We both have online sales, on online access as well.
Mhm,
Um, I personally don't have super high sales on the online platform. They still exist, but it's not super high. It's nothing compared to what I sell in salon.
mhm.
And I would say on average, our retail to service sales is 18 to 22%.
That's fantastic.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah,
So to me, it's not dead at all. And we have plenty of people that come in just for the products. They don't even necessarily come to our salon, which is
yeah.
also a nice benefit.
And we have a lot of walk-ins, so we'll get a walk-in every like, especially on a Saturday, we'll probably get about 4 or 5 walk-ins just because I'll watch them. I'll watch them walk past the salon, they'll look in the window, they'll see we have an abundance of product, and we'll get to that in a bit, but an abundance of product, and I physically see them stop, turn around, and come back in and grab a product from our shelf, or just wait for somebody and get the product recommendation, which is fantastic. But it really is such an asset, and I walk by other salons that only have 1 or 2 products on their shelf, or you can't even see their product shelves, and I really feel
Sure.
like they are missing, an opportunity, and to
Because also, like, those people coming in for product are potential new clients.
yeah,
I've I don't have actual numbers, but I'd probably say it's like 40 to 50% of the people that have come in just for product end up being clients later on.
exactly. Yeah, I think that conversation is really important. I think the way in which I have told people they've come in asking for certain things, and I have actually given them a hack as
Mhm.
to, like, you don't need this product. Like, I know you think you
Mhm.
do, but you could use this instead, or we don't really have what you're looking for. I would suggest you go there, where they've actually come back even a month or 2 later saying, "You know what? That was so, um, humbling to hear you not push a sale on me because it was
Mhm.
something I was asking for, not something I needed, and they've come in and sat in the chair and been happy with their haircut. So you're right, it's
Honesty builds trust.
yeah, and it starts even I try and tell my team this, like, even within 3 seconds of somebody walking in the door, they need to have a smiling face. It doesn't matter whether you're with a client or not, but just having that quick greeting, it's that first minute is how you make the person feel. If you walk into a place and you're ignored, even if you're buying retail, like, it feels crappy, and it's like, "Well, why do
Yeah,
I wanna support this business if they can't even be bothered to turn around and say hi?"
100%.
Or you
It's
could
just I
all
mean,
be
we're in
like
customer service.
meerkats, and everybody turns and looks.
It's not creepy at all.
So I think, like, from that, I know your salon and my salon have a different sort of storefront presence where you can somewhat see into your storefront.
Mhm.
Think you change it around quite a lot, don't you?
I do, I have not as of late, but I do have an issue where I desire change frequently.
You did that when you were a kid, right? You moved your bedroom around a
Oh my
lot?
gosh. Yeah. Yeah. I did. It's,
Anyways, we digress.
yeah.
So I've always been of the mind that, like, having that clear visual to the product, that in order to get to the product, they need to walk in the door and take a few steps.
Mm.
To go into the salon has always been something that I feel deeply, because my team have tried to argue this with me, but I feel deeply about that, like, that's your triangle. Like,
Sure.
the front door to the retail to the reception desk. The reception desk should always be closer to the front door, and the retail should be further away. And then that gives them kind of the feel, and the vibe of the salon itself.
I was just gonna say I don't necessarily have a rule, but I would say that that's the setup currently. It's not
Right.
right in the window, but when you walk in, it's right there, and so is the front desk.
And when you walk by your salon, can people see the products, or is it
So long as it's the right time of day, yes.
okay? So
Like,
sun, please.
if the sun's shining, then, it can't, but for most of the day, you can see in because 'cause we're on the south side, which I imagine is the same for you most of
Yeah,
the day.
yeah.
Just kind of that golden hour that you can't see in.
See, that's where I think we're different. So the sun sets in the west, obviously, and our retail products on the east side.
Mhm.
So when people are
So it
walking
doesn't
from the west, so it doesn't impede on
okay.
the visual. So again, but our doors are at opposite sides. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah, I think we're it's not the exact same setup, but it's a pretty similar setup right now. I think the only difference is that my retail continues to come out in front of the stations, whereas yours is just on that one wall.
I think that's one of the things that I love walking down the street when I'm looking at other salons is to see what their sidewalk presence is and
Yeah,
whether you can spot the retail or not and what the retail actually looks like. So I've
yeah.
always had the belief of want to have full shelves. I want
Mhm.
somebody to be able to grab a product off the shelf confidently because it is not the last one, and they don't feel like they're, "Oh, what if I take it and somebody else needs it?" So
Mhm.
we carry a lot of stock. I also take forever to put an order in, so sometimes we need the extra stock,
Uh,
because we don't wanna run out of a product. And I also believe that I need to carry the entire line and can't
okay.
just pick pieces because I've been so frustrated when I've made a decision not to carry a certain product and then somebody walk in off the street looking for that identical product that I
Mhm.
just made the decision and it is infuriating. So from that point, I was like, screw it. I'll just take the entire line and just carry
Yeah.
like one or two of the ones that we're just kind of ho hum about.
It's a good spot to be because it is a bit frustrating when someone comes in and you don't have it. I think it can also be a big burden to have all of that. And I think that's like a fine line, right? As like a salon that doesn't have a high um, retail to service sales. Maybe if you're 10% and under, then maybe it doesn't make sense, or you just need to have some more PK in there or have some more training with your team on how to incorporate it throughout the whole thing versus just selling at the end or not selling at all. So I think that's another one of those things. I think you and I always go back to, well, what is your salon space like? Do you really want to change that? And what makes sense for you and your team? So for me, I like to have like, I don't know, I guess one of the thing that we rarely sell and maybe 3 plus of the things that we sell a lot. I think the things we sell the most of, I try to have like 6. But otherwise, it's like 2 to 3 of each item for me. I also feel like we have a lot of SKUs retail-wise. When it comes to our color, if we don't use that color often, I'm usually only keeping 1 box on hand. If it's like a neutral, natural, and we use it often, or maybe we have a lot of coppers, or I just know the rotation of those clients are gonna come back in this time of the month, I'll make sure there's more boxes of that so that we're not running out of that. We're keeping a lot of bleach and a lot of, 10 and 20 volume developer on hand. There's like it's interesting of like the different variances of things that you keep a lot of versus things you keep less of. And also, who are you as a salon
Mm,
and who is your
yeah.
team? Because that's going to affect that decision. Like for me, I think it's very anxiety filling seeing so much product on the shelf and being like, I really hope someone comes and buys that. Versus for you, it's like anxiety inducing, being like, there isn't enough of that on the shelf.
Yeah.
What if somebody comes and buys that?
Yeah.
So I just think it's an interesting like thing to keep in mind.
Well, and I think with like color is crazy one. We've gone from um in the past 5 years, we've had to sadly switch around our color lines
Hmm.
and try out a few different ones to try and find the one that aligns with us the best. Because the one that we were with started discontinuing things, unfortunately. Um, and one of the biggest things and the trickiest things for us was the size of the tube
Okay.
changed. So we
Oh,
went
weird.
from so with all the different companies and lines. So we went from a company that had 2.5 ounces in the tube to a company that had 3 ounces in a tube, and now we're at a company that has 2 ounces. 30 milliliters is an ounce, if that's the math that you're doing.
That your demi? That
Huh?
was a permanent?
Yeah. So every company is a little bit different, and then it's
Yeah.
also the ratio of color to developer too
Yep.
makes a big difference. And
Yep.
so we went from potentially having like 3 boxes of color to when we had to go down to the company we're using now that only has 2 ounces in a tube. I think it's only 2. We had to carry so much more product
Yeah.
because one all
Why aren't they
over
just making bigger tubes?
money. If
Yeah.
it's $10 for a tube, let's say
Gosh.
$10 for a tube of color, but you don't take into account that one's 3 ounces and one's 2 ounces.
I think people don't think about that.
No,
I think,
they don't.
okay, side random, same thing, tangent. I feel like during COVID, all of the online spaces were just talking about all the brands raising their prices so much. And, like, we're a Davines salon. Davines is not a cheap by any means. It's a higher end price point. But at the same time, I was always like, yeah, I don't know, this still seems fine to me. Like it's going up, it's like normal, like 50 cents to a dollar every year, like, okay, whatever. I'm not that fussed about it. It's not like weird and breaking the bank. But I was at a Cosmoprof somewhere in between those discussions and the last couple years. And I was curious. So I looked at all the price points and I looked at how many milliliters the tubes were. And to me, I was just like, all of these are the same or more expensive than Davines, and I was so confused at the number of them that were also only 60 milliliters. And I was like, why are we doing this? This doesn't make any sense. Davines's majority of their stuff is 100 milliliters per tube. And to me, I'm just like, okay, cool. I don't have to put another box on my shelf.
Which is over 3 ounces for those who only deal in ounces.
It's very important information.
Mhm.
Um,
But also with Davines being a sustainable company, that makes so much sense,
yes.
right?
Yep.
So if you have a company that has smaller tubes, a color, how much more money is being spent on packaging, on just the aluminum that it needs to create the tubes, plastic, you're laughing at the way I said aluminum, aren't you? The plastic of the caps and stuff like that
You got a
versus
British background. It's okay.
I'll tell you later about all the things that my staff have been making fun of the things I say. Anyways, the plastic caps and all of the other packaging things that is expensive to use. So it
Yeah.
would make perfect sense that Davines has the higher
Hmm.
size of color. And I beg and plead other color companies, listen to this and increase the volume of it. Yes,
Yeah.
put it up for your cost per milliliter is the same, but
Yeah.
the cost savings as a color company that you're going to use or that you're going to save because of your putting it in a bigger tube just is
Yeah.
is not only good for the environment, but it's good for the end user. And now we don't have to stock like 7 tubes of 5N because that's the most used color in the salon. Anyways, apparently you
I would
found the hot
even,
spot.
yeah. all, all manufacturers of hair color, listen here now. Um, I would even say in the recent years of more and more salon suites, with very limited space, that it makes even more sense to have bigger tube size because you just like I have a lot of space in my salon, but even when Davines came out with a new line offering last year, I think it was last year, I was still sitting there having it's totally fine. I have plenty of space, but I was still having a meltdown of like, where am I supposed to put this? What do I do with this? So like I can't imagine for smaller salons or salon suites. Like I don't know. It's a good point and I hope to hear it.
Yeah, me too.
Have you ever used one of those fancy schmancy color tracking systems? We have two Canadian companies, I do believe. We don't need to name them. They're both Canadian.
Are they?
Yeah,
I
apparently.
I didn't think I thought one was American.
No, I didn't think so either, but apparently it's in like from New Brunswick. Either that or that's where they've put a Canadian head office. I did not verify, but that's
Okay.
what I was being told.
Okay. Interesting. I was intrigued when I heard about it, and I
Mhm,
did look into it, and I did have a demo call with one of the companies.
mhm,
Um, and I decided against it,
mhm,
because I really when I weighed out the cost versus not the cost and how much
mhm.
product and time we would be saving, the value wasn't there for me.
Yeah, I feel the same. I think I first heard about it, like, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and that was the same emotion or sentiment that I had was the cost of the service was gonna cost me more than the money I'd be saving, and for me, I don't think this is the same across the board. I think it's valuable for a lot of people, a lot of salons, but for me, we already tracked and wrote down how many grams we were using for our clients. So we already mixed up the appropriate amount. We already used green circles, so we already had low waste and could actually visibly see how much waste
Mhm.
we were producing. In addition, we also already charge a product charge for our color clients. So we were already getting gram by gram coverage for that. So it just didn't make sense to pay extra for it. But I can appreciate that a lot of people don't do that
Hmm.
and don't pay attention to those things or just aren't really thinking about or considering those things and also don't charge the product charge.
And I think sometimes, like, especially if you have an old school stylist
Mhm.
who is not used to weighing color, it's not a color dispensing system. So you can
Mhm.
still go in and use not the scale, and then what's the point? Because it just
Sure.
offsets all of your inventory and all of those costs too.
Yeah. Yeah, you just need one person who's not doing it,
I know.
and then you're
Yeah.
you're still off.
I can see how, like, being a let's just say you own, like, 2 or 3 different
Mhm.
salons and you have
Mhm.
a lot of team and inventory is a huge task, then yes, I could see
Mhm.
this being a very valuable service,
Mhm.
especially if you're not there to monitor the goings on.
I think then the price point also makes more sense
Yeah.
if you're that
Yeah,
size.
exactly. But yeah, I agree with you. The price of that, did not resonate with the value that I was getting for that product. But I would love to hear if anybody who's listening to this has used any of these and what your experience has been, positive or negative. Like, change your mind. Give us reason
Yeah.
why
Yeah,
that
yeah.
we should have this in our salon, please. I'd love to hear the other side of this too. So,
I believe you do also, Nicole, but, I believe a lot of salons aren't good at tracking their inventory in general or placing like, most salon software systems have a purchase order, uh, offering,
mhm.
so you can create it, and then it automatically changes your inventory, and you can also put max minimums in there to help you with ordering, as well as just see what's on hand, being that hopefully your inventory is relatively close to what it says in the computer.
Yes.
Um, you guys do that? Yeah.
We do that. It does take a bit of work to input it once the orders
Sure.
come through. So I like to make sure I have,
Oh,
one team member to do it.
okay. Oh, because you do such a big order.
Yes, and then just checking it against I
Mhm.
probably have a lot of really old school ways of doing inventory. We still have yet to find the perfect way, but what we're doing so far does work, which is when we're placing an order, we'll run that up report, and
Mhm.
then I'll visually check the report against what's on the shelf.
Oh,
9 times out of 10,
wait.
it's correct.
So every time you do an order, you do an inventory check?
No. No, no, no. I visually make sure. So I guess yes. I'm getting a look. Um, so I will I'll take, say, Kevin Murphy, I'll take what was ordered, and then I'll look at it, and if there is, like, 5 shampoos and I look at the shelf and there's 3 shampoos there, then I'll do max order
Okay. Every time.
because that
Wild.
way because if I don't do
You're
max
such a
order
wild lady.
I know, I love creating extra work for myself. Because if I don't do a max order, then I have to go through it, and I'm doing that anyway, so it's just easier to do a max order and then changing the numbers afterwards once I have, like, the
Okay.
skeleton of what I wanna order. It takes a couple
Okay.
hours. My payroll system is fantastic, and it takes me an hour max to do payroll. Inventory, I still have a bit to figure out here.
Okay. So we use Mango Mint.
Yeah.
We've had Mindbody and we've had Milano in the past. All have had purchase order, email type of options. We've used Mango Mint for a while now, so that one's the process that I'm most familiar with. Um, but yes, I'll go through and just look at what we have and select what we need versus what's missing or what we're low on and I do have a min-max, so it does automatically suggest a number. But if I want more or less of that number, depending on what our actual budget is, I'll adjust that number. And then also if we don't really need something, or if our inventory is off and we don't need it, or it didn't populate and we do need it, then I'll add that in there. And then when we receive our order, I just go through the invoice after we've checked off that we've received everything that it says we should have. And I'll go through that and check off again that it matches everything that's in our system. And then we just click receive all and close.
Right. So
and that
it's
changes
similar.
our inventory.
It's similar.
Is it?
I think where you're hearing a difference is like, because you'll probably still look on this shelf to see if like what shampoos you have
Yeah.
when you're doing the min-max. It's the same thing.
Oh, I thought you were saying for when you receive, like after you've received it.
No. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
That's just somebody else
Before for your
putting.
order.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I see. I thought you were saying you were doing that after you've received it to confirm whether
No.
you've received it into your system.
No. Yes, that would
Okay.
be way too much work.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No.
That's why I was like, what?
No. Sorry. Clearly I was not clear.
That's okay. We misunderstood. We misunderstood. Both of us misunderstood.
Okay. So my question then is, for your color, you say you write down all the grams and everything like that, but how do you track that in Mango Mint or
Yeah.
what? Okay.
In the client's profile.
And then does Mango Mint populate your color order for you as well?
No.
How do you keep track of how many tubes you need?
So we have like that we need, or like that.
That you need to order.
I mean that's again a visual thing, just the same as the retail.
Okay.
Sometimes if I'm going to make a scarce order, because I need a couple things, but I don't want a lot of things, because I'm opposite of you. I will look ahead for the week at I will know my client's color needs for the week ahead, but I will look at the client card on the Mango Mint software to see what my team needs for their clients coming in that week. So I can make sure if there is like an odd color that we don't typically keep a lot of, I'll make sure there's an extra tube of that.
Right. And so we do chits. Like when we finish a box of color, we tear off the tab and we put it in like our designated space, and then
Yeah.
we have our running notes on a couple people's phones. So we're just always updating that.
That's useful.
So, and then I'll do a quick visual check once I'm putting an order in to make sure that we're
Does your
not
team help
under.
to put that information in already?
Yes. Yeah.
That's
So
good.
it's more one person's responsibility to put it into that notes. And
Yeah.
then I'll take that and I'll throw it into a spreadsheet so that it organizes it by numbers rather than just being all over the
Okay.
place. And then
Okay.
from there, I'll just have the cupboards open and I'll just kind of be like, okay, why do we need 5 1.11s when there's 5 up here? So I'll just remove that
Yeah.
from the order to make sure it's
That makes
not being
sense.
like, we need 20 of these. No, we do
Yeah.
not need
Because that's why you
20.
have 5.
Yeah. Actually,
'Cause
1.11 is a color that does go very quickly, weirdly.
Oh, yeah?
But this
Okay.
is also getting used to the 2-ounce tube, where in the past, a 3-ounce plus tube would do 2 color applications minimum, where
That
one
does make sense.
2-ounce tube does not do 2 applications. So now we have to store more color.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
And then the line that we use also has like a 632 and a 623, and dyslexia sucks. So it's sometimes we all of a sudden have like 10 of the 32 and 0 of the 23 because either my dyslexia sucked or somebody else's. dyslexia sucks when they're picking the order. So it's
Yeah, that definitely happens. I'm sure that is pretty prevalent in the hairdresser
exactly.
world
Yes.
also. That does remind me too that, like, I think we might have touched on it, but just, like, keeping in mind, like, if you have several SKUs that you don't use, like, regularly look at your bottom 10 and see if you're using them ever. So, like, just because you have something on the shelf and it finally gets used, it doesn't mean it needs to continue to be used. Maybe someone just used it because 'cause they're like, "I'm bored today.
Yeah.
This is close enough. Let's experiment." But, like, it wouldn't have been used any other time, and they probably don't care to continue to use that on their client. They just were bored that day.
Hmm.
Um, like, keep that in mind. You don't necessarily obviously, some brands get a little fussy about you needing to carry everything, but at the same time, you gotta think about your bottom line and what makes sense if you're just keeping stock on the shelf that's not going anywhere, not moving.
If you have that extra stock on your shelf too, it could actually go bad before it sells
Yep,
as well, because there
yep.
is a shelf life for these things as well. So keeping that in mind.
Anything else?
I think that's everything. I'm
Mm.
sure it isn't everything, but it's everything today. So let's do a recap.
Is retail dead?
It is certainly not dead.
Um, should we fear online shopping? Was that a loaded question? That wasn't a
That is,
recap question.
yes.
Okay, online shopping, great, useful thing for us. Find ways to work with it for in salon because that's not the only place people are shopping. And give
Yes.
people a reason to shop in store, not just online.
Yeah.
How much stock to keep on hand?
It
Depends.
all depends on who you are.
With that, we've said it plenty of times throughout all these different episodes. Nicole's different. I'm different. We have a lot of thoughts and opinions on how we do business. There is not necessarily a right or wrong way. You have to consider yourself, your business, your brand, your clients, your team, and what works best for you. So if you take away from this things that are useful, amazing, but don't just hear it and say, okay, I'm definitely going to do that. You need to consider whether something actually works for you and makes sense for you and your brand and all the other pieces of it. And really, really consider, does that make sense? Or maybe you want to do something similar to what we've suggested or what one of us does, um, and maybe tweak it a little bit. Just, you really need to think about how it actually affects you because Nicole and I do things differently for a reason because we have different salons and we have different teams and we're different people. And it doesn't mean that one of us is doing the wrong thing. We just do it differently. And there's even sometimes, and I'm sure you even heard it in an episode, where one of us will hear what the other one does, and we're like, you know what? I'm switching. That's what I'm going to do. I like that idea better. So, like, think about those things for yourself and consider whether it makes sense for you or not.
Yeah.
Last but not least on our recap, are you tracking your inventory? Are you making note of your color usage and your retail sales in your inventory? Not yes, your retail sales numbers, but we're talking about your actual inventory. Um, Definitely being clean about your inventory helps you throughout the year, whether you're placing orders, whether you're figuring out what you actually sell, what you don't sell, how much wastage you have. Those little things are going to give you a better, clear idea of your business overall. And we hope these help, and we'll be chatting to you soon.
Yeah. And please share any thoughts that you have with inventory or any ways that you do things because you might inspire us or somebody else listening. So please share your information with us, Instagram, email, whatever it is. And until next time, thanks for listening.
Ciao.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening in today. The Positive Image podcast exists to empower hairstylists and salon owners with real conversations, practical tools, and authentic stories, building confidence, connection, and community in the beauty industry. Subscribe to stay tuned in for our next episode.